the first one is the so-called walking whale. And this is supposed to be the best proof for evolution. And it's like a dog-like animal evolving into a whale. But we had the opportunity to film interviews with these guys. And there was two men that found the three most important fossils, and they worked 50 feet away from each other. They were in the same office, and they found the three. They found Ambulocetus, Rhodocetus, and Pakicetus, which isn't on here. And that's very odd that just two men in the world that worked in the same office just so happened to find the three most important fossils of the world. But when we interviewed them, we realized that the whole thing was not as they said. There was no nose area on the fossil, and yet he moved the nose to like a little blowhole halfway evolved, but there was no fossils here. Also, the proof that it was a whale, a walking whale, was the ear, and that was bogus too. And you can see that in our book, volume 1. The second scientist, his partner, his boss, found this one, Rhodocetus, and it was spectacular. It had 4 legs, flippers, and a whale's tail. And yet, when we went to interview him, he said he had no fossils of the tail, and he had no fossils of the flippers, and he made it up. And he says, I don't even think it has a whale tail. And the third one was Pakicetus, and that appeared on the cover of Science, and you can see that in our book too. And that one was made up from just 3 fragments of a skull, 3 fragments of a skull, and he made up an entire walking whale, and it turned out to be not. So
if I could, I've done a lot of study on whale evolution, and I've been blessed by your work and your videos and your interviews. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you doing an interview, if I'm not mistaken, and you were speaking on whale evolution in your introductory slides here, which I appreciate. And I think it was Rhodocetus.
Yeah, Rhodocetus.
About the fluke,
yeah,
where the discoverer had speculated that there was a fluke, but then eventually retracted that. Can you speak to that a little bit, Carl?
Yeah, that scientist, his name is Phil Gingrich, right, and he is the guru for whale evolution. He was one of the 2 guys that found all the whales. And here is the video clip, but because my system is all just being thrown together, here he is in this clip when we're interviewing him, and he's saying, Rhodocetus, I never found the tail. So I used to think it had a whale tail, but now I don't think it has a whale tail. And he said, I never had the flippers, but I used to think it had flippers, but now I don't think it has flippers. And so he retracts it. And the crazy, uncomfortable thing is that we were filming that interview. And, you know, you feel bad for these scientists because they don't realize how crazy they sound. Yeah. And you could see those interviews, and even our first video is still as pertinent as it was when it was released. It's a standard definition video. It's a Green Video Evolution, the Grand Experiment, Volume 1, Episode 1. But I can't see it here, but it's still pertinent because those interviews. And if you go to our website, there's interviews where the guy implodes on the other one, Ambulocetus.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just bad. I feel bad.
Well, I've got the sources here, the references, because again, I've really utilized your material on whale evolution and fossils in general, because I've got people asking for those citations. So I'll send it to them, and I got links to the videos as well. And so you also, I think it was Phil Gingrich with Ambulocetus. Didn't he admit or argue that Ambulocetus is not in the main lineage because its eyes are at the top of its head rather than the side, much like a crocodile?
Yeah.
And so
yeah. So Phil Gingrich, was commenting on his roommate or, office mate's discovery. Remember, the 2 guys found 3 of these things. His office mate found Ambulocetus, And his office mate said Ambulocetus is a walking whale.
Mhm.
And then Gingrich during the interview says, no, it can't be on the lineage to whales, because if you look like at a sperm whale or something, the eyes are off to the side.
Right.
Whereas a dog or a crocodile, the eyes are on the top. And Ambulocetus' eyes are on the top. And so Phil Gingrich said, just based on that, it can't be in the lineage because the eyes are in eye sockets are in the wrong place.
Well, there goes Rhodocetus. You know, and it's interesting because you made a point that they don't realize how, I mean, for lack of better words, silly they sound, because they're presupposing evolution. Evolution must be true. Evolution's true. We're just trying to figure out the story, right? How it occurred. But us as creationists, we see what they're saying in terms of, well, it's not in the main lineage. Well, it's not in a lineage at all, because whales simply didn't evolve from mammalian tetrapods like a Pakicetus or Endogenous.
That's right.
Wow, you've done some great work, Carl. I'm really excited about this series.